So good morning or good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Talent Finders would like to welcome entrepreneur, Indian dance instructor, and spiritual coach Richa Chandra, all the way out of Norway. So welcome, Risha.
Thank you. Thank you, Karen.
So Risha, firstly, I'd like to congratulate you on all your achievements. Can you please share with the audience how your entrepreneurial journey started?
Well, it's quite interesting because I was thinking about it a few weeks ago, how I got started, and I had to track it all the way back to when I was a kid, and my father used to run his own shop,
Yes,
and he used to bring home money, and I used to sit and count it with him. So
yes,
I think I already then, what do you call, played with money.
yes,
And I would sit and listen to him, how he would talk about money, how much, how much profit it was, how much, cost and income and the difference between that. And, he would tell me and teach me. And he would say so many good things about being his own boss. So he
yeah,
could decide a lot of things. And yes, I could see that sometimes he would be much more worried than other people for how the income will come in. But still he made it seem like a good way to live, to
yes,
be your own boss.
yes,
So I think that got stuck in my mind somewhere. And in 2006, I registered my first company, but just as instructor. And I wasn't totally into the business mindset, but
yes,
I wanted to become a business owner. So it felt very good when I said I have my own company, but I didn't actually know what it really meant.
yes,
And then I kept that aside. It was my side hustle actually,
yes,
and I was leading one of the first dance centers in Norway, Indian dance centers in Norway. And I worked as a CEO there for a very long time, and it was my mom's company that I continued with. So I'd been in the organization for a very, very long time, and it started with me. So it felt natural. Again, I felt like I was running a company in a different way than other people will do, because I felt I had both of the inside of the culture, but also I was taught how to think like a business owner.
yes,
But then everything got taken away from me. There was a hostile takeover in 2015.
yes.
So my actual journey started, if I'll be honest with you, the way I started to think as an entrepreneur was in 2016. Really
Okay.
clear. But that I already had my side hustle for 10 years. But in 2015, that's when I really got the clarity, and I started to dive into what it means to become a business owner and take it really seriously.
Yes, absolutely. So,
Mm.
you have a unique style of dance, and being based and living in Norway, what were some of the challenges you experienced in your genre of dance and coaching?
Well, because as you said, it's a unique style, and living in Norway, there are not many dancers on that level with classical dance. So
Yes,
that I had to create my own stage. I had to create my own audience.
yes,
So and that's how it is. Sometimes when you make a new service or make a new product in an unknown market, you first have to educate your audience or customers
yes,
that they need this or they want this. So that's what I needed to do. I needed to connect with people and earn their, what do you call it, their trust.
yes,
And then from there, I could, get audience who could watch my dance performances or my dance projects and dance dramas. So it has taken many, many years, more than 30 years, to actually build that kind of an audience in Norway, because Norway is a very small country, and there are not many Indians here. So the goal was to get the Norwegians to watch,
Yes.
so those became my audience. But it has been a long journey when it comes to dance. My coaching business, I started, as I said, in 2007, and then I let it go because I had my children. But then I started again in 2015, 16, and because it's meditation coaching, meditation is known all over the world now, so it wasn't that difficult to start meditation coaching. It was all about the credibility, and I've been meditating for a very long time. And a lot of people knew that, so it wasn't that difficult to get customers in that line.
No.
Hmm.
So what are some of the biggest lessons and learnings you experienced in your career, and what are some of your career highlights?
I have to say that I learned a lot when I lost everything, because I had to rebuild it. Before that, a lot of people were telling me, if you want a business coach, you need to learn from somebody who have either built their business once or twice from ground, built it and lost it and built it again. And I didn't really understand it until I lost everything myself. So one of the biggest lessons I learned was if I'm going to learn from somebody, then they have to have walked the path before the path I'm walking. So they have to know what they're doing. And another thing which I learned was branding. How important branding is. I think a lot of small and medium business owners don't understand the importance of personal and business branding. Because when I lost everything and I started again, 80% of my customers followed me. So that was because they were loyal to me. They knew me, and I had a personal brand. I didn't think too much about it, but I realized it because of my personal brand. They followed me.
Yes, absolutely. So what would you say some of your career highlights were, or are, or have been?
Because I work with different areas, I have to say different things. So when it comes to the dance, is when I got an award as being one of the teachers, the best teachers of that year in Indian dance, and contributing to our community. But also when in 2007, I put up two of the biggest shows in Norway. One at National Theatre, which is Norway's biggest theater, and I had about 12 dancers from India on that stage, and we were able to bring in audience with different background than Norwegian, which was a huge hit. And the other one was a children's dance play, which also had we had about 24 children, amateurs and professional on one stage playing out an Indian dance drama. So these are some of the big moments. And now recently we did Swan Lake with Indian dance, which again has been a big hit.
Amazing. That's amazing.
So with my last year, I got awarded as most aspirational businesswoman in Norway.
Okay.
So that, that was I felt like, oh, I got credited for all of my hard work. I mean, it was all worth it, because it is hard work to be an entrepreneur. no good time to work. There's always time to work, right? So you're
Yeah,
working constantly, and to achieve a award like that made it all worth it. I felt like I was getting a sign that I'm on the right path.
that's amazing. So,
Mm.
at the age of 5, you have been an ambassador for Indian dance culture in Norway. So, can you share with the audience about this and what was it like growing up in a very different culture from India in Norway and opening obviously the first Indian dance school in Norway?
Um, yeah, it was my mom who opened it, and you're correct. She put me on stage when I was 5,
Yes,
and she was the one who started this because she knew there was a gap. There
yes,
was something missing for the children growing up with an other cultural background. You don't have to be Indian. You could be with any background, but if you were not typically Norwegian, you might feel there is a lack of information, and she wanted to create an arena where people from different culture could meet and do something something they loved,
yes.
and that was dancing to something else than Norwegian or American music.
Yeah,
So, yeah, so, and it really, that's where my safe, I felt very safe there because everybody felt the same thing, that we looked different than
mm,
Norwegian children, but we felt Norwegian as well because we were growing up in this culture. We knew the language, we had friends, but we were still not always accepted because we looked different. I had
yes.
black hair, brown skin, brown, so I don't look very Norwegian. And because we tend to judge people the way they look, I don't, I don't, I didn't get offended of it, but I always felt a little bit outside,
Yes,
and there were always different questions: where are you really from?
yes.
Instead of, just saying, okay, you're Norwegian.
Accepting you.
Exactly. So
Yeah,
that's why it was better to meet on a different arena where nobody cared where you're from or you look different, because everybody kind of looked the same.
yes,
It's we had just different. The only thing we had in common was that we weren't typically Norwegian. There was
yes,
something else we could bring to the table. So that was my safe area, and that connection with other people, that passion translated like into that movement, into that the physical activity of dance. And as I grew older, I understood that I found myself talking more and more about the dance because I understood my Indian culture much more, and I was connected to India. I understood my roots, and that's why it made it easier to communicate with my parents, which for me was a huge thing, because a lot of the children who came to learn dance
mm,
continue to have a better communication with the parents. And for me that was like kind of aha. So I kept on doing the dance. Sometimes I wanted to quit because I wanted to do other stuff, but my parents were always like, no, 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 you're good in it, keep on doing it, don't let it go. And I found myself in the dance. So I never thought of myself as an ambassador before, like recently when people started to give me that title.
mm,
But I always promoted it because I found the deep history. I found that there's so much we can learn from the culture, the tradition that the Indian dance stand for. That's why I kept on presenting it on different arenas, and people loved it. The classical forms as well, but commercial forms, everybody knows about Bollywood and Bollywood dances and songs, and people think it's fun. So in both arenas I kept on evolving and promoting it, because I actually believed in what it stands for, the values, and
yes,
what it can actually do for people. That is why I still promote it. And it's very nice that people think it's me as an ambassador for Indian culture in Norway. That's very, very kind. But it's something that we all should do, right? Be proud of where we come from. Yeah.
So obviously Indian dance for you is not only just about being or just about dance, but it's obviously so much more. And you have clearly impacted so many lives. So can you share with us more about this? And if you have some examples of clients and lives that you have impacted?
Um, Yeah, as I said, dance meant very much for me, not just because it was a way of staying fit and moving, but it has a deeper meaning, and it became kind of a meditation for me. I found myself, I found my roots, I found a lot of meaning in it, and a way to express. That was the most important thing, because a lot of people walk around and they don't know how to and whom to express their feelings to. And I was getting a stage, somebody may created a stage for me where I can actually express my feelings through dance. So I don't have to say anything, but I can just dance and pour everything I have of feelings into it, and then stay healthy that way. So for me it was a kind of a meditation. And when so I started mixing a lot of my coaching with my dance as well. And what happened the past 10 years have happened that a lot of people that have moved to Norway with a different background find themselves very lonely. They find that they don't have a lot of people to talk to, or they don't know how to express themselves. So a lot of people come and they are depressed, and they're looking for either somewhere they can meet other people, be social, get connected, and at the same time be physically healthy, express themselves through dance. And so I do help them a lot with the coaching techniques that I use, but also how to express themselves through dance, how to let go of the frustration, of the depression. And a lot has to do with the physiology.
Yes.
And through dance they can change their physiology, and I change that like in few seconds. And so they love the classes because they feel good, and that feeling lasts for a few hours, and then they come back, and it becomes almost like a place for them to feel good all the time about themselves, until it becomes a natural state.
Yes.
So you have to help them change the physiology at least 5-6 times, and then when they feel okay, this is the way my body should be, it can help their mood. So yeah, a lot of my students are still with me. They love the dancing, and they love the way it makes them feel, and they have now a deeper understanding of how physiology actually can help their depression, and vice versa. How the happy mood can help the dance even become more expressive.
Amazing. So
Mm.
I want to shift to mental health and trauma. So you
Mm-hmm.
went through your own trauma when you were younger, and you took up meditation. You
Mm.
also decided to help others through your own experience and healing. So can you
Mm.
share with us more about this, for our audience that does not know? You don't necessarily have to go into a description if you don't want to of the actual trauma itself, but just, yeah, how it helped you and why you decided to help others.
Um, well, it's not a secret about the trauma, but there are different things that I experienced. But as a child living in Norway, as I said, looking different, I was bullied a lot, and
Yes,
I was beaten up a lot
yes,
in school. And so that was very traumatic for me. And that's when, in the age of 7 and 8, I started to listen to my intuition and started meditating. At the beginning, I didn't even know what I was doing. I mean, I didn't know I was meditating. I mean, when you're 8 years old, you don't know that you're meditating if you're not being guided to meditate. But I didn't know at that time. I just kept on doing it because for me, the inner voice was stronger, and I felt the support. I felt that I wasn't alone, because I felt what do you call a divine energy, God,
Yes.
or whatever you want to call it, was with me. So in the hope to continue feeling that connection, I kept on meditating.
Mm.
And I kept on evolving the techniques, because sometimes it will work and sometimes I had to adjust the techniques. As I grew older, the same techniques will not, do the same thing for me. So I needed to do different things. And at that time there were not many books. In the 80s, there were not many books in Norwegian about meditation,
No.
especially not in Norway. So I got some books from India, but they were in English. So I started to read them, and I didn't understand them all. But after a while, I started to, build my own techniques. It wasn't before I was 16 years old that I actually found Silva method, which was very similar to what I was practicing, visualizing meditation. And so a lot of their techniques, they put it into system. I just, winged it. I didn't have a system. I didn't have a name for the techniques. I just kept on doing it. But it was very good to be able to take that course. So I knew, okay, this technique is called that, or they have this, so I felt I wasn't crazy. Another
Yes.
thing that I I got to understand through that course was that these techniques are universal. They're not just one person who made them, but these are universal. Because as a kid, when I just landed on them, or they came to me, I didn't create them.
Yes.
Or if somebody else said that they created it, it's very strange to be, when somebody else on the other side of the planet are doing the same thing as you are, there must be a universal truth to it, right? That's what I think. So
Yes.
as I took up coaching, a lot of people asked me, how do you meditate? So I thought, okay, people need to understand how to meditate, because that question keep on coming up and keep on coming up and keep on coming up. And they asked, how can you meditate, and how do you sit there for hours and just hum? And I actually don't do that. It's a very misguided conception that, yeah, we just sit and do hum, or we just say one mantra all the time and that's it. So that's how I understood, that there is a need for it.
Yes.
And when people were asking my help, of course, I wanted to give it. And so I started with free classes in Oslo Central. I had a space and I started to give free classes to people. And for my surprise, there were so many young men who were programmers, or so many young people who were disturbed. They wanted to start meditating because they were stressed, they were depressed, they were not feeling good, they didn't know how to be social, there was and they had anxiety attacks and so on. And I was surprised how many people needed that kind of help.
Yes.
And for me, that became a second nature, because I had meditated for so long. And for me, it wasn't difficult to guide them to find their own techniques, because that is the most important thing, finding the technique that suits you, because not one shoe fits all.
Yes.
So a lot of people think, okay, I have to sit and meditate and not think about stuff. But if you want to reach that level, you really have to meditate for a very long time.
Yes.
And that is not possible as long as you're bound to the materialistic things on earth. Once you want to leave everything and you want to go up to the mountain and become a kind of a yogi or guru, that's fine, then you cannot leave everything behind. But as long as you have family, you're tied to material stuff, you have a job, you have a career, that kind of a meditation does not suit everybody. It's not easy to do.
Yeah.
So I try to help people to find the right kind of meditation for them, and then also the important thing behind the technique, because technique in itself doesn't do anything,
Yeah.
right? If you know you need to exercise but you do it the wrong way, it doesn't help, right?
No.
Or if there is just, okay, I'm working on the treadmill, I've been working for 2 hours, but you actually just standing on the treadmill but you're not walking it, right?
Yeah.
So so the intent behind the meditation and the technique both together, that's what you're gonna get, that's what's gonna get you the results.
Yes.
So it's always about working about the intent. And a lot of people who are depressed and lonely, they don't understand the intent because their focus is on the wrong thing. If you focus on one thing, that's what you keep on manifesting in your life.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
so that's why the intent behind the technique of the meditation becomes the most important thing.
100%. So, um, I also see, I'm just gonna divert a bit here, but you won awards, which you briefly did speak about previously, and you have written 3 books. Was this something you always knew you wanted to do? And do you believe that this opened the doors for other opportunities within your career?
Definitely, definitely. I have written books in Indian dance. I've never thought I will do that because I actually have dyslexia and I don't write very well. So from the childhood, I've been told I'm not very good with language. I'm not very good in writing. I'm not very good in expressing myself with the words. I should stick to dancing. So when I wrote my first book, I was quite young, but it was a kind of a book about dancing. So it wasn't something that came from me. I kind of wrote the facts, but I still wrote it, and it gave me a lot of different kind of opportunities because as very young dancer, I got the possibility to speak on stage and talk about dance
Yeah.
and my journey in dance. And then the last book I wrote was Proven Benefits of Meditation, which
Mhm.
came out in 2019. And that opened a lot of doors for me. So I've been a lot in England, and I've been on different stage and talk about meditation and motivation. And a lot of people, what happen is they need some kind of a proof for how meditation works, because a lot
Yes.
of people are logical, they don't just take you on your word, and they shouldn't. If people need proof, then they should get that. So the proven benefits of meditation is about that. It proves, a lot of studies have been done with meditation, and so it sums up what meditation techniques helps you with what, like stress, headache, or high blood pressure, what technique you should use. And it has been done studies on that this technique actually works. So that makes a lot of people more they accept meditation much more, and they integrate it in their life because now they have proof, scientific proof. The reason I wrote that book was that there were two psychologists who contacted me, and they wanted me to teach them and their employees how to meditate, because they were thinking like half of the population of the earth meditate. There must be something in it, right?
Yeah.
uh, so and they actually felt the difference in their pulse, their blood pressure, and so on and so on, just after 20 minutes of meditation. So that's why, and they kept on saying to me, telling me, I need proof, I need proof, I need, research, and I wanna use this, I wanna believe this, but I can't believe it if I don't have science behind
Yeah.
it. So that actually encouraged me to write this book. So
Amazing. So that
yeah.
leads me to the last 2 questions. So what are the 3 key pieces of advice you would want to give to other entrepreneurs? And what legacy would you like to leave?
The three key pieces of advice is that first of all, I always say know your numbers.
Yes.
You have to know your numbers. A lot of entrepreneurs want to help other people, and it's a very, very noble notion that they want to help, but they don't know anything about the accounts. They don't know anything about their numbers, and they
And
keep
getting
on,
back to basics, right?
yeah, you really need to provide for yourself first, and then you can help others. So you have to, I see so many coaches, so many healers, therapists who want to help, and they don't understand how to help without getting bankrupt almost.
Yeah.
So it's all about knowing your number. There is a reason why it's called business, right? So I think, as you said, getting back to the basic, and if you know your numbers, this corona time should not have been difficult, because the rule number one is to put aside enough money that if something like this happens, you will survive.
Yes.
So all of these things are important. The second one, I would say, always have multiple income streams.
Yes.
Small ones, but have multiple income streams. That is what is gonna save your company either way. If you're relying only on one kind of income, that will leave you vulnerable, your company vulnerable. And the third thing is that at this moment, branding.
Yes.
That's what I'm gonna say. Personal branding and business branding is the ultimate key, because even if your customers are not buying at this moment, if you have built a personal brand or business brand that your loyal customers resonate to, they will start buying as soon as things settle down a little bit, and they'll come back to you because they remember you.
Yes.
But if they don't know you and they don't care, I mean, if you have not built a memory kind of thing in their heads, and you have not been in their heart, they will not come back to you. They will go somewhere where they can get it for less money, or cheaper brand, because it will suit their needs. So branding, personal and business branding, both are just as important, I think.
Yes, absolutely. And
Mm.
what legacy would you like to leave?
Oh Lord, that one is difficult. That one is difficult. I haven't thought that far, but I always think that, okay, let's say if I die tomorrow, and who would be in my funeral? What would they say? So
Yes.
I know it's a little bit dark and it's a little bit depressing to think that way, but I want people to remember me as somebody who gave as much love as I could,
Yes.
as much connection as I could, and I gave people the platform, any platform, to express themselves and grow. So that's what I want to leave behind, that people will always understand that I tried my best to create as many platforms as I could so people could connect and
Yes.
grow and express themselves, which has always been my focus.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. So if people want to get in contact with you or follow you, what is the best platforms to connect with?
Facebook and Instagram are the best platform for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can you
So,
just share what your handles are?
sorry?
Can you just share what your Instagram handle is so that people...
Yeah. So my Facebook is Richa Chandra in Norway, and Instagram is what do you call it? @Richa_Chandra.
Oh, great. Well, thank you so much, and hopefully we can have you back in the future.
Yeah, that
And
would be
yeah, just
great.
all the best.
Thank you very much, Karen, for having me. This has been lovely. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Bye.